Hello guys, welcome to the introduction of the algebra of functions. Now, just like with regular numbers, we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, right? We can do the same thing also when it comes to functions. And if you look here are operations on functions. So we have the addition of functions, the subtraction of functions, the multiplication of functions, and the division of functions. Now remember, for division, your denominator cannot be equal to 0 or else it'll be undefined. So, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to practice with the algebra of functions where we have a specific value for x. And then we're going to transition into algebra of functions where we're just dealing with the overall operations on the functions and determining the domain of the function. So, now, it says here, right? M of x equals to 4x. N of x equals to the absolute value of x minus 3. P of x equals to 1 over x plus 1. We're going to compute the following. We want to compute the following of m minus n of 2. We have m times p of 1. We have p divided by n of 3. And I believe that's it. Okay. So we're going to use the rules for the algebra of functions. In this part, we have the subtraction of functions. So I can write function m minus n of 2 as m of 2 minus, rather, negative 2, my apologies, m of negative 2 minus n of negative 2. Using the second rule. Now, before I could find an answer for this, I can evaluate each function when x is equal to negative 2. So to find m of negative 2, I'm going to plug in negative 2 into the function of m of x, which is going to be 4 times negative 2. 4 times negative 2 is going to be negative 8. We multiply a positive and a negative, the outcome is going to be negative. Now I want to find n of negative 2. And I plug that into my n of x function. So it's going to equal to the absolute value of negative 2 minus 3. Now, inside of my absolute value brackets, you owe your bank $2. You spend 3 more because you need a snack. How much do you owe your bank now? You owe the bank $5. So we have the absolute value of negative 5. Remember, any negative value inside the absolute value is outputted as positive. So the absolute value of negative 5 equals to 5. Let's continue. So we know that m of negative 2 output us negative 8. N of negative 2 gave us 5. We now have negative 8 minus 5. Write that a little bit better. Negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13. You owe the bank $8. You spend 5 more. Now you owe your bank $13. And that is the solution when it comes to using the algebra of functions with subtraction. I did break it down step by step. Let's do the next one. And if you need to, pause the video and copy this down, screenshot it down, whatever you want to. This is m times p of 1. So I can write that as the multiplication of the functions that I'm evaluating at the x value of 1. M of 1 times p of 1. Let's evaluate each function. To find m of 1, you're going to plug in 1 into m of x. So instead of it being 4x, it'll be 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is just 4. To find p of 1, we're going to evaluate function p when the x value equals to 1. That's going to be 1 over 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 in my denominator is 2. So p of 1 is going to be 2. Now if I continue, we know that m of 1 is 4. We know that P of 1 is going to be 1/2. So I have 4 times 1/2. Make that into a fraction. Multiply across. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that is the solution to that question. We'll do the last one. Zoom out a little bit. It says P divided by n of 3. So when we write that, it would be P of 3 divided by n of 3. Let's remember that n of x equals to the absolute value of x minus 3. And P of x equals to 1 over x plus 1, as given up here. So I'm going to evaluate each of those. N of x first. Well, let's do P of x first, since it's on top. P of 3 equals to 1 divided by 3 plus 1. That'll be 1 over 4. To find n of 3, in this case, it's going to be the absolute value of 3 minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0, so the absolute value of 0. And the absolute value of 0 is just equal to 0. So now, on the top of my fraction, P of 3 is 1 over 4, divided by n of 3, which is 0. Remember, any fraction that has 0 in its denominator is undefined. So the answer to this one is just undefined. And there you go, guys. There you go. This is how we perform the algebra of functions. These are the answers to the 3 questions. Get an overall broad of it, screenshot it. And these are the operations on functions. If this makes sense to you guys, then we're going to move on to algebra of functions part 2. See you soon.